Olivia Carter trudged wearily along the dirt path leading to the small village nestled near the edge of a dense jungle in rural Georgia. The journey from the city had been grueling, but she had no choice. After her mother's sudden death and her stepfather's betrayal, she had been left with nothing but the clothes on her back and a fading hope. Her stepfather, once a trusted figure in her life, had claimed the family estate and all its assets, leaving her with a mere suitcase and nowhere to go. The village she now approached was a far cry from the bustling city she had known. It was a remote, almost forgotten place where time seemed to stand still. The villagers went about their daily lives with a slow, deliberate pace, and the only sounds were the occasional call of distant wildlife and the rustling of leaves in the jungle. Olivia felt both apprehensive and relieved. The city had offered no refuge, and here, in this isolated village, she hoped to find some semblance of peace. As she walked, she spotted an elderly woman standing in front of a modest house. The woman's kind eyes and gentle smile seemed to offer a glimmer of hope. Olivia approached her hesitantly. "Excuse me, ma'am," she said, her voice tired but polite. "I'm Olivia Carter. I'm looking for a place to stay. Do you know if there are any vacancies in the village?" The elderly woman's eyes softened. "I'm Aunt Marge," she said. "You must be new here. I don't have much, but I can help you find a place. Come on, follow me." Aunt Marge led Olivia to a small, abandoned house on the outskirts of the village. It was run down but had potential. The roof was intact, and the walls, though dusty, were solid. It would need a lot of cleaning and repairs, but it was a start. Aunt Marge's kindness made Olivia's heart swell with gratitude. "It's not much, but it's yours if you want it," Aunt Marge said with a warm smile. "I'll help you get settled in." Over the next few days, Olivia worked tirelessly to make the house livable. She swept out the dust, scrubbed the floors, and made the place her own. Despite the hard work, she felt a sense of accomplishment and peace. The village, though small, began to feel like a refuge from her past troubles. One afternoon, while Olivia was gathering water from a nearby stream, she heard a splash and a gasp. Rushing to the source of the commotion, she found a young woman struggling in the water. Without hesitation, Olivia waded in and pulled the woman to safety. The young woman, drenched and trembling, looked up at Olivia with wide, grateful eyes. "Thank you so much," she said. "I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't come." Olivia helped her to the bank and wrapped her in a blanket she had brought. "You're safe now," Olivia reassured her. "What happened?" The young woman took a deep breath, still shaking. "I'm Sarah Lawrence. My fiancé, Tom, he tried to kill me. I was supposed to drown, but I managed to escape." Olivia's eyes widened in shock. "Why would he do that?" Sarah's voice trembled as she spoke. "Tom wanted to inherit my $23 million fortune. He was desperate. I'm grateful you saved me, but I need to get away from here." Olivia, moved by Sarah's plight, offered to help. "I have a small house in the village. It's not much, but you can stay there until you're safe." Sarah accepted the offer, and Olivia guided her back to the village. As they walked, Sarah explained her situation. She was the CEO of a successful company but had been betrayed by those she trusted most. Her story resonated with Olivia, and she felt a growing sense of empathy for this young woman who had also been betrayed by someone close to her. Once they reached Olivia's house, Sarah was given a clean room and a warm meal. "Thank you," Sarah said as she settled in. "I don't know how to repay you for this." Olivia shook her head. "You don't need to repay me. We're both survivors, it seems. Just take it easy for now." Sarah smiled gratefully. "I'd like to offer you a job in my city home. I could use someone trustworthy, and you've proven yourself to be that. If you're willing, you can leave this village and come work for me." Olivia hesitated. Leaving the village felt like abandoning the small bit of peace she had found, but the offer was tempting. "I appreciate that," she said finally. "I'll think about it." As Olivia lay down that night, she couldn't shake the feeling that Sarah's presence had brought more than just temporary relief. Her life was about to change again, and she was uncertain whether it would be for better or worse. The village, though remote, had offered her a new beginning, and she was about to face yet another twist in her journey. The city was a stark contrast to the quiet village Olivia had come to know. The hustle and bustle of urban life seemed overwhelming as she stepped into the luxurious high-rise building where Sarah Lawrence lived. Olivia had decided to take Sarah up on her offer and leave the village. It was a difficult decision, but she hoped the new job would offer her stability and perhaps a fresh start. Sarah welcomed Olivia warmly as she arrived. "I'm so glad you're here," Sarah said with a bright smile. "I hope you're comfortable with the arrangements. You'll be working as my personal assistant and housemaid. There's a lot to do, but I'm sure you'll manage perfectly." Olivia settled into her new role with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. The city house was stunning, filled with elegant furnishings and modern amenities that were worlds apart from her previous life. She quickly got to work, organizing Sarah's schedule and managing household tasks. Despite her initial unease, Olivia began to find a rhythm in her new job. However, it wasn't long before Olivia started to sense something amiss. Debbie Kane, Sarah's housemaid, seemed to have a cold demeanor. Debbie, a woman in her early 30s, had a sharp gaze and spoke little. Olivia couldn't shake the feeling that Debbie was watching her closely, as if suspicious of her presence. One evening, while Olivia was tidying up the kitchen, she overheard a conversation between Debbie and Tom, Sarah's fiancé. The words that drifted through the door were chilling. "The plan is set. We just need to make sure Sarah doesn't suspect anything," Debbie said in a low voice. Tom's voice was laced with urgency. "Once she's out of the way, the $23 million will be ours. It's the only way to secure our future." Olivia's heart raced. She had no doubt that the conversation was about a plot to kill Sarah. Tom's attempt on Sarah's life by drowning her had been a desperate move, and now it seemed he was planning something even more sinister. Olivia knew she had to act quickly, but she had no proof and couldn't confront them directly without risking her own safety. The next day, Olivia tried to warn Sarah, but Debbie was always around, making it difficult to speak privately. In a desperate attempt to reveal the truth, Olivia decided to take her concerns to Sarah directly. However, before she could gather her thoughts, Debbie managed to frame Olivia. She planted evidence suggesting that Olivia had been stealing from Sarah's belongings. Sarah was devastated and believed the accusations. Despite Olivia's protests of innocence, Sarah felt betrayed and had no choice but to dismiss Olivia from her position. "I'm sorry, Olivia, but I can't ignore these accusations. You're relieved of your duties," Sarah said with a heavy heart. Homeless and jobless again, Olivia returned to the city streets. She wandered aimlessly, feeling both hurt and frustrated. She knew she had to find a way to expose Tom and Debbie, but she had no idea where to start. One afternoon, as Olivia was passing through a crowded marketplace, she spotted Tom. He was trying to blend in with the crowd, but Olivia recognized him immediately. Determined to stop him, she approached a nearby policeman, Leo, who was directing traffic. "Excuse me, officer," Olivia said urgently. "I've seen that man over there. He's involved in a plot to kill someone." Leo looked at her with concern. "Are you sure? This is a serious accusation." "I'm positive," Olivia insisted. "His name is Tom. He's been conspiring with someone to harm Sarah Lawrence." Leo nodded and made his way toward Tom. As Leo approached, Tom noticed him and tried to escape. A brief chase ensued, and Tom became increasingly desperate. In his attempt to flee, he attacked Leo, seriously injuring him before being apprehended. Olivia watched in horror as Leo fell to the ground, his face contorted in pain. With Tom in custody, Olivia finally had a chance to explain her side of the story. Leo, despite his injuries, listened intently. "Tom and Debbie are working together," Olivia said. "They want to kill Sarah to get her inheritance." Leo's expression hardened. "We'll need to investigate this further. If what you're saying is true, there's a serious crime being planned." As Leo recovered from his injuries, Olivia was determined to see justice done. With Tom in custody, she hoped that he would eventually reveal the full extent of the conspiracy. But the situation was far from resolved, and Olivia knew she had to be cautious. Debbie was still at large, and Sarah's life was still in danger. The turning point came when Sarah, now informed of the plot, was heartbroken by the betrayal of those she trusted. She reached out to Olivia, who was still living in temporary lodgings, and asked for her help. Olivia agreed, knowing that they had to act quickly to protect Sarah and bring the conspirators to justice. As Olivia and Sarah began to work together to uncover the truth, they faced numerous challenges. The bond between them strengthened, but the looming threat of Debbie's plans cast a dark shadow over their efforts. Olivia was determined to see the conspiracy exposed, and Sarah was resolute in her quest for justice. The suspense grew as they navigated through the dangers and deceptions that lay ahead. The battle for survival and redemption had only just begun, and Olivia knew that the hardest part of their journey was yet to come. The city's chaos seemed to fade as Olivia and Sarah began their urgent quest to expose the remaining threats. With Tom in custody and Debbie still at large, their situation was precarious. Olivia knew she had to act quickly to ensure Sarah's safety. Sarah was devastated by the betrayal of Tom and Debbie. "I never imagined anyone would be so deceitful," Sarah confided to Olivia as they met in a small cafe, away from the watchful eyes of Debbie's associates. "I trusted Debbie completely. She was like family." Olivia nodded sympathetically. "We need to focus on what we can do now. Tom is in custody, but Debbie is still a danger. We have to find her and ensure she doesn't carry out any more plans against you." Sarah agreed. "I've already informed the police about Debbie's involvement, but we need more evidence to make sure she's apprehended." Determined to help, Olivia and Sarah began investigating Debbie's whereabouts. They spoke to neighbors, checked through records, and followed leads that might point to Debbie's hiding spot. Each day brought new challenges, but their determination to protect Sarah kept them going. One afternoon, Olivia received a tip from a former acquaintance who had seen Debbie meeting with unknown individuals. The tip led them to a rundown warehouse on the outskirts of the city. Olivia and Sarah, accompanied by Leo, who was now recovering and determined to help, ventured to the location. As they approached the warehouse, Leo whispered, "This might be a risky operation. We don't know what Debbie is planning, so stay alert." Olivia and Sarah nodded, their hearts pounding. They carefully entered the warehouse, their footsteps echoing in the empty space. Shadows danced on the walls as they moved cautiously, searching for any signs of Debbie. Suddenly, they heard voices coming from a room at the back of the warehouse. Olivia signaled to the others to stay quiet as they crept closer. Through a small window, they could see Debbie and a few accomplices gathered around a table, discussing their next move. "We have to act quickly," Debbie said, her voice laced with malice. "Sarah's time is running out. Once the final plan is executed, the $23 million will be ours." Olivia's heart raced. They had to prevent Debbie from going through with her plan. She signaled Leo, who contacted the police for backup. They waited in tense silence, knowing the outcome of this confrontation could be critical. When the police arrived, they stormed the warehouse, catching Debbie and her accomplices off guard. A struggle ensued, but the authorities were well prepared and managed to apprehend Debbie without any further violence. The warehouse was soon swarming with officers, and the conspiracy was finally unraveling. Debbie, handcuffed and escorted out, glared at Olivia and Sarah with a mix of hatred and defeat. "You think you've won?" she spat. "You have no idea what you're up against." Olivia met her gaze steadily. "We've uncovered the truth, and that's what matters." With Debbie in custody, Sarah felt a mixture of relief and sorrow. The betrayal had been deep, and the realization that someone she had trusted could have been so cruel was painful. But with the immediate threat over, she began to focus on rebuilding her life. As the investigation continued, Tom's confession further confirmed the extent of the conspiracy. His detailed accounts of how he and Debbie had planned to kill Sarah and claim her $23 million inheritance shocked everyone. With both conspirators behind bars, the case was nearing its conclusion. Leo, despite his injuries, continued to support Olivia and Sarah throughout the ordeal. His dedication and bravery had played a crucial role in their success. Olivia and Leo grew closer as they worked together to ensure Sarah's safety and bring the criminals to justice. In a surprising twist, during the course of the investigation, Mrs. Lawrence, Leo's mother, revealed a significant piece of information to Sarah. "Sarah," Mrs. Lawrence said, "there's something I need to tell you. Leo and you are biological siblings. You were separated at birth." Sarah's eyes widened in shock. "How is that possible?" Mrs. Lawrence explained the circumstances of their separation and how she had been searching for Sarah for years. The revelation brought an unexpected sense of closure and connection. Sarah and Leo, now reunited as siblings, found solace in their newfound relationship. The bond between Olivia, Sarah, and Leo grew stronger as they navigated the aftermath of the conspiracy. Olivia had proven her loyalty and courage, and her relationship with Leo blossomed into something more profound. Sarah, though still recovering from the betrayal, began to rebuild her life with a renewed sense of hope. As the story of the conspiracy spread, Olivia, Sarah, and Leo faced their respective challenges with resilience and determination. The road to redemption was fraught with obstacles, but their unity and strength provided a glimmer of hope for a brighter future. With Debbie and Tom behind bars and the $23 million inheritance secure, Olivia, Sarah, and Leo looked forward to a new chapter in their lives. The journey had been fraught with peril and betrayal, but the bonds they had forged would guide them toward a path of healing and happiness. The suspense remained as they continued to face the aftermath of the conspiracy, but the strength of their friendship and the certainty of justice provided a sense of hope and resolution. The story of their struggle and triumph had yet to conclude, but the lessons learned and the connections made would shape their futures in ways they could never have imagined. The conclusion of the conspiracy marked a turning point for Olivia, Sarah, and Leo, but the true test lay ahead as they faced their new realities. With Tom and Debbie in custody, their lives began to take on a new shape, grounded in the lessons learned from their recent struggles. Sarah, still reeling from the betrayal, was determined to move forward. She spent time reflecting on her life and the people she wanted to surround herself with. The revelation that Leo was her biological brother provided a sense of connection she had never felt before. "I can't believe it," Sarah said to Leo one evening as they sat on the porch of her city home. "We've been through so much and now we're family. I'm grateful for your support." Leo smiled warmly. "I feel the same way, Sarah. It's strange how things work out. I never imagined I'd find my sister under these circumstances, but I'm glad we did." The siblings' bond grew stronger with each passing day. They began to share stories of their past, building a relationship that felt both familiar and new. Leo's presence brought Sarah a sense of stability and reassurance that she desperately needed. Olivia, meanwhile, had begun to build a new life of her own. The city had become a place of new beginnings for her, and she found herself drawn to Leo in ways she hadn't anticipated. Their shared experiences and mutual respect blossomed into a deep and genuine affection. One evening, as they strolled through a park together, Leo took Olivia's hand gently. "Olivia, I want you to know how much your bravery and strength have meant to me. You've been incredible through all of this." Olivia looked at him with a mixture of surprise and joy. "Leo, I feel the same way. Your support has been invaluable, and I can't imagine facing all of this without you." Their relationship continued to deepen, and soon, Leo and Olivia found themselves discussing their future together. It wasn't long before Leo proposed, and Olivia accepted with tears of happiness in her eyes. Their love story, forged in the fires of adversity, became a beacon of hope for both of them. As Olivia and Leo planned their future together, Sarah was also making significant changes in her life. With the threat of betrayal behind her, she focused on rebuilding her company and her personal life. She met David, a kind-hearted man who supported her through her recovery and became a steady presence in her life. David's understanding and compassion helped Sarah heal from the wounds of her past. Their relationship grew, and David soon proposed to Sarah. "I want to be with you through all of life's challenges and joys," he said, holding her hand. Sarah accepted, and their wedding was a celebration of new beginnings and the triumph over adversity. With David by her side, Sarah found the strength to embrace a new chapter filled with love and hope. One of the most profound changes in Sarah's life was her decision to adopt. Despite the medical challenges that prevented her from having biological children, Sarah chose to adopt triplets from an orphanage. The joy of motherhood brought a new sense of purpose and fulfillment to her life. She and David welcomed the children with open hearts, creating a loving and nurturing home for them. As Olivia and Leo prepared for their wedding, Sarah's home became a place of joy and celebration. The families came together to support and celebrate the new beginnings for their loved ones. The sense of unity and love that surrounded them all was a testament to their resilience and strength. The final chapter of their story was filled with hope and new opportunities. Olivia and Leo's wedding was a beautiful ceremony that symbolized their journey from hardship to happiness. Surrounded by family and friends, they exchanged vows, promising to support each other through whatever life might bring. Sarah, now a mother and wife, found contentment in her new role. The children brought light and laughter into her life, and the love she shared with David created a strong foundation for their family. Together, they faced the future with optimism and joy. As they all moved forward, the shadows of their past began to fade, replaced by the promise of brighter days. The challenges they had faced had forged unbreakable bonds and taught them valuable lessons about trust, loyalty, and the strength of the human spirit. The story of Olivia, Sarah, and Leo was a testament to the power of resilience and the beauty of new beginnings. Their lives, once marked by betrayal and struggle, were now filled with love, hope, and the promise of a better future. As they looked ahead, they embraced the new chapters of their lives with gratitude and anticipation, knowing that they had overcome the darkest of times to find their way to the light.